everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless early weekly spoilers find Jack Abbott at risk of relapsing during the week of October 28, November 1, 2024 on Y&R. Check out the latest spoilers for the CBS daytime drama. Next week on Young and the Restless, Jack Abbott's good friend, Nikki Newman, is concerned about him. Currently, Jack's life is falling apart. He's still at odds with his son, Kyle Abbott. Plus, he's been publicly fighting with his wife, Diane Jenkins. Then he kicked her out of their home and fired her from his company, Jabot Cosmetics. On top of that, he says their marriage is over and wants an annulment. Now it's highly likely Diane and Jack Abbott are staging the failure of their marriage on Young and the Restless. It appears that it's all a plot to get their son away from Victor Newman and take Victor down at the same time. However, it could blow up in their faces and their marriage could be in real jeopardy. Next week, Nikki pays Jack a visit at the Abbott mansion. Clearly, she's worried he's going to fall off the wagon and turn back to drugs. He tells her he's lost his wife and his son. He's not going to lose his sobriety too. But Nikki says they both know that's easier said than done. Even if Jack and Diane are putting on an act to make everyone believe their marriage is falling apart, it could very easily turn real. If so, there's a good chance Jack could relapse and spiral out of control on Young and the Restless. While Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, expresses her concerns to Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, A Blast from the Past hits Genoa City. Coming up next week, Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, visits Nate Hastings, and Dominic. She thanks Nate for seeing her again and says it's been a long time since she's been in Genoa City. Amy is a character from the 80s who supposedly has ties to Nate's family. And recent chatter suggests she tells Nate he has a brother who needs a transplant. So she asks him for help. Meanwhile, major drama erupts for Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei. Next week, Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, arrests Daniel at the Genoa City Athletic Club. As he's reading Daniel his rights, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, is frantically screaming. Then Christine Blair Williams, Laura Lee Bell, walks in on Young and the Restless. She tells them to stop and that she is there to represent Daniel. Of course, Phyllis is in disbelief because she and Christine can't stand each other. So she is bound to be furious that her enemy is defending her son. Y&R is full of drama next week. Don't miss a minute to see if Jack Abbott heads down a dangerous road on the CBS soap opera. In the complex world of Asterisk, the Young and the Restless Asterisk, the characters are constantly tested, facing personal struggles, betrayals, and the haunting shadows of their past. One character who has faced and fought his demons time and again is Jack Abbott. Once one of the most influential figures in Genoa City, Jack's journey has been marked by triumph and tragedy, most notably in his battle with addiction. For years, he's maintained his sobriety, building a life of stability and purpose. But now, a series of unexpected events threatens to push him to his limits and jeopardize his hard-won sobriety. Will Jack be able to withstand the pressures coming his way, or will he find himself slipping back into old, dangerous habits? Chapter 1, A Rising Storm. It had been years since Jack Abbott took his last drink. After losing so much to alcohol, including relationships, trust, and a large portion of his dignity, he'd clawed his way to sobriety and hadn't looked back. He became a figure of strength, a man admired for his resilience in the face of hardship. But now Jack felt the weight of the world slowly pressing down on him again, with memories creeping in and a storm brewing in Genoa City that could threaten everything he had worked so hard to achieve. The trouble began subtly, as it often does, with a business deal gone awry. Jabot was under pressure from new competitors, and for the first time in a long while, Jack found himself feeling overwhelmed. His office, once a place of confidence and control, now seemed more like a prison as he grappled with the looming problems. The restless energy from his early days of sobriety, which he'd long forgotten, was beginning to claw its way back. Just as he was trying to strategize, an unexpected blow came from someone he never expected, Diane Jenkins. Though their relationship had evolved over time, Jack had never fully trusted her. And now she was pulling strings behind his back, threatening his leadership at Jabot and leaving him blindsided. Chapter 2. Unwanted memories resurface. As if the pressures of work weren't enough, personal turmoil was soon added to the mix. Jack received news that his son, Kyle, was in trouble in New York. Though details were sparse, whispers of legal issues and shady dealings reached his ears, and Jack couldn't bear the thought of Kyle falling into trouble. He spent so much of his life trying to be a better man for his family, yet now everything seemed to be slipping through his fingers. Jack found himself haunted by the ghosts of his past. Nights spent lying awake reminded him of darker times, and he began questioning whether he truly deserved the life he had built. Old, painful memories of his father, John Abbott, came flooding back. The fear of disappointing his father, even now, pushed Jack into a spiral of guilt and self-doubt. He thought he had buried those feelings, yet here they were, raw and real. In moments of weakness, he began to consider that familiar solution he once turned to when the world felt too heavy. The thought of a drink, the rush of it, the numbness that followed, tempted him. He caught himself looking at the decanter in his office more than once, his fingers twitching as he fought the urge. He remembered the darkness that came with every drink, but as the pressures mounted, so did the temptation. Chapter 3. Phyllis and Nikki sound the alarm. As Jack's behavior grew increasingly erratic, those closest to him began to take notice. Phyllis Summers, his longtime friend and sometimes more, was the first to realize that Jack was on edge. She observed the way he clenched his fists, the distant look in his eyes, and the subtle telltale signs of a man struggling to keep himself together. She cornered Nikki Newman, another person who knew the dangers of addiction all too well. Together, they decided to approach Jack, aware that it was risky but determined to keep him on the right path. Their confrontation was tense, with Jack immediately becoming defensive. "Jack, we're just worried about you," Phyllis said, her voice soft but firm. "You've worked so hard to get where you are. Don't let a few setbacks take that away." Jack's jaw tightened. "You think I'd throw everything away for a drink? You don't know me as well as you think," he retorted, though even he didn't believe his own words. Nikki, ever composed, spoke up. "Jack, this isn't about us doubting you. It's about us wanting to support you. We've seen what you've been through, and we know how hard this can be. But don't shut us out now." Jack's shoulders slumped. He wanted to be angry, to push them away, but a part of him knew they were right. Yet he was too ashamed to admit just how close he'd come to falling off the wagon. He nodded curtly, giving them the reassurance they needed, but as they left, he knew that his struggle was far from over. Chapter 4. An unexpected betrayal. Just when Jack thought he was beginning to regain control, another bombshell dropped. Billy, his brother, who had been acting erratically himself, had made a move to undermine Jack's leadership at Jabot. Jack discovered that Billy was actively collaborating with Diane to gain leverage in the company, a betrayal he hadn't seen coming. Feeling utterly betrayed, Jack's anger consumed him. His own brother conspiring against him. The frustration, the humiliation, and the mounting pressures were more than he could bear. He lashed out, storming into Billy's office to confront him. "How could you do this, Billy?" Jack's voice was filled with venom. "After everything I've done to keep this family together, you turn around and stab me in the back." Billy seemed unfazed, his own resentment and ambition clouding his judgment. "Maybe it's time for a change, Jack. You're not the only one who knows what's best for Jabot." As the argument escalated, Jack felt himself spiraling, his control slipping away. By the time he left, he was shaking, and his mind went straight to the bar down the street. It would be so easy, he thought, just one drink to calm his nerves. He found himself at the entrance, hesitating. It was Phyllis who found him there, as if fate had placed her there in his moment of weakness. Without a word, she took his hand and led him away. Jack didn't fight it. He didn't have the strength left to resist. Chapter 5, Facing the Darkness. That night, Phyllis stayed with Jack, offering silent support as he confronted the darkest parts of himself. The vulnerability he tried so hard to hide came pouring out as he spoke of the failures he felt defined him, the broken family, the betrayals, the emptiness he tried to fill with power and prestige. Phyllis listened, her presence a calming anchor, reminding him that he didn't have to face his struggles alone. Jack, you're not alone in this. You have people who care about you, who want to help you. But you have to let us in. Her words sank in, and for the first time in weeks, Jack felt a flicker of hope. He knew his journey would not be easy, and that he would have to confront the demons that had haunted him for so long. But he also realized he wasn't defined by his failures, nor was he alone in his struggle. Epilogue. A new beginning. Jack returned to work the next day, still grappling with his emotions but determined to rebuild himself from the ground up. He knew he couldn't change the past or erase his mistakes, but he could choose to rise above them. He met with Billy, who had come to his senses and extended an olive branch, realizing the damage he had caused. Together, they began to repair their fractured relationship, finding common ground in their shared desire to protect their family legacy. With the support of those around him, Phyllis, Nikki, and even Billy, Jack renewed his commitment to sobriety, understanding that his strength lay not in his isolation but in his connection to others. Jack knew that the path ahead would be difficult, but he felt a renewed purpose. In a world where battles are often fought alone, he had finally allowed himself to lean on those who cared about him. And for the first time in a long while, he felt at peace, knowing that he had the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For Jack Abbott, it was a new beginning, a journey of healing and redemption, one step at a time. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Y and R Update YouTube channel for more update news.